What's up, guys? Before we go ahead and get started on development in this project, I just wanted to go ahead and give a big thank you to Philobola and Bettina Draws for commenting on these videos and suggesting things and asking questions. I really love the questions you guys are asking, and I can't wait to get to them and answer them. But for now, we're going to go ahead and work on the development of this project. I don't know if we're going to get it all on one video, so we'll see how far we get today. Let's go ahead and jump into the development now. Alright guys, so we're going to get started working on this here. Right now I have our Adobe XD file open, and there's one thing we are going to need from that, and that is this little icon here that we're using inside of our button. So we're just going to go ahead and export that, and we're going to export that as an SVG to the desktop. Alright, now that we got that, let's go ahead, let's go to the desktop. Now I have a bunch of folders here, and none of them have anything to do with today. So let's go ahead and create a folder and call it URL Dencoder. Just like that. And now inside of this, let's open this up. We need, well, we don't need another file, that's for sure. We are going to need to add a file. Sorry, we didn't need a folder. We're going to add a file now. So let's open this up in Atom. And we're just going to create a file. And we are going to call this file index.html. So if I go over here, right click, say new file, index.html. Alright, here we go. This should be in here. There it is. This right here is what our website is going to be. So before we do anything else, let's go ahead and just declare the doc type. So doc type, I like that all in caps right there. Doc type HTML. Okay, so now that we've got our doc type declared, let's go ahead and continue just setting up the skeleton here. It's going to be pretty much like this, except we're not pulling in scripts. We're not pulling in an external style sheet. But I think we can leave this for now. Let's go ahead and let's start working on the meta tags. So we will be using these meta tags. Let's go ahead and just put this one up here. And I'm not going to go over this favicon right now. We'll do this later on in the series, but down here in the title, let's go ahead and just call this URL Dencoder, and let's open this up in Chrome. Alright, so it's open in Chrome. As you see, it says URL Dencoder up here. Let's go back. What am I seeing in the body? We've got an extra one of these here. All right, there we go. So we have we've got some meta tags here. What else are we going to need? Let's go ahead and import the font that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using fonts.google to get Open Sans. I like Open Sans. Let's see. Open Sans. Let's grab this font, customize it, and let's go ahead and grab 400 regular, 600 regular, well, 600 semi-bold, and 700 for bold. So let's just grab those and grab this embed, and we can go ahead and we'll use this right here. That's standard because we're just going to put that up here in our head. Let's put it after the title. All right. Now, let's go ahead and start adding in some of our HTML, because we can't really style anything until we do that. All right, so over here in the body, let's start off with, well, let's look at the design again. Alright, so to get this background, we're going to put everything probably in a wrapper Yeah, let's start with that. All right, so we're going to have a div with the class equal to content wrap. And let's close the div off. And inside of this div, we're gonna have 3 anchor tags and then a paragraph tag with an anchor tag inside of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's 1, 2, 3. Okay. One here. So we're gonna have 3 anchor tags. And then after that, we're gonna have a paragraph down here with an anchor tag inside of that. So now this first anchor tag is going to be the title. So let's go ahead and just, set the href and stub it out. Let's give it a class of title. And then let's go ahead and put the title in here. So it's just URL Dencoder, just like that. And the next one, we're going to have, that's not where that goes. That goes in here. href equal to nothing. And yeah, so we're going to write this function later, but let's go ahead and call it now. So it's just going to be on click is going to be equal to let's call it prevent default. That's what we will call the script when we write it. And inside of here is going to be the word instructions, if I can spell it. So let's give this the class of instructions, and then we're going to need the ID set as well. So we'll set this to instructions as well. And this will be because we're going to call this anchor tag in our JavaScript so that we can have this like modal slide out from the side. All right. Next, we are going to need a href right in here. And this is going to be sent to my PayPal account. So it's just going to be https://www.paypal.me/Zachary R. Newton, just like that. And yeah, what else do I need? I don't want this to open up in the same page, so I'm going to say target blank underscore blank. Let's give it a class of donate. And in here, let's go ahead and say donate. All right. Now, inside of a paragraph tag, let's go ahead and give this a class of credit. And let's write a project by, and then inside of here, href, let's send it to my personal website. So it's going to be https://ZacharyRNewton.com. If I have that wrong, that would be very sad. And again, target equal to underscore blank. All right, and then inside of the anchor tag, I'm just going to say Zachary R. Newton, just like that. So let's go ahead, head over to the web page, refresh it, and see what we have here. So we have our title, our instructions, our donate, and then a terribly spelled phrase, sentence, whatever you want to call it down here. So let's go ahead and fix that. A project by, okay. Perfect, that works. Donate, let's see. Yep, that works. And then instructions isn't going to go anywhere. Instructions is just going to stub it out. All right. So we've got that right there. That's pretty much all the navigation that we're going to be having. What's next? What's next? Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and work on this whole, like this input section here. So let's, beneath this, let's go ahead and write div with a class of input wrapper. Div. Yeah. All right, now inside of this, we can go ahead and we need an input. So input, just like that. Let's give it an ID, not an IED. That would be tragic. An ID of Dencoder, and let's give it type equal to text. Placeholder equal to do you even Dencode, bro? Just like that. Let's just check it. Well, no, I didn't finish writing it yet. We'll wait to check that in a minute. Now we'll check it. Do you even Dencode? And I'm assuming the rest of that's there. I don't know yet because we haven't styled this. But it should be there. So underneath the input, we are going to need a button. So this button, we're going to give... we're going to give the class of copy button, just like that. And yeah, that should be it for that. Then we need to go over here and close the button. So button just like that. And now inside of this button is where we want to put our SVG. So let's go over here and see if we can open this up in Atom and just grab the code from it. Yes, we can. Styles. Do I want my styles? No, I don't. So I'm just going to remove this style declaration here and this. So this is all we need right here. Let's copy that, paste it inside of buttons, and let's see if this works now. Well, there is a button, but I don't. It's not styled. Not yet. We will get there. Okay. After our button, we already have this closed off. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our other buttons. So we're going to add this button and this button. Let's go ahead and add another div. Give it a class. Whoops. A class of button wrapper. And in here, we are going to have two buttons. So we're going to have button and button. All right. So this type is going to just be button. And then again, we're going to say on click. And then we're going to make a function using JavaScript for each of these. And then inside this top one, let's go ahead and call it, or we'll say encode and decode. Perfect. And then let's, for these functions, I know what we're going to call them. We're going to call one encode, and we are going to simply call the other one decode, just like that. And that's closed off. Perfect. So this is everything that we need at the moment that I'm aware of to go ahead and get this one part of this done so far. We will add the HTML for this a little later on, maybe not in this video, I'm not sure. It depends on how quickly we get through all of the CSS styling. So to do the CSS styling, let's go back to our index. We don't need this open anymore. don't save. Alright, so up here in our head, just before it closes, let's go ahead and write style. And let's close our style tag. And in here, this is where we will write all of our styles. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab our HTML and our body. Yes, just like that. I believe, yeah, that looks right. And I want a margin of 0 and a padding of 0. Now, when I normally code stuff up, I normally use like Jade for HTML or something else instead of just HTML. Or I'll also use something like Sass instead of writing out all of the CSS. But I don't really want to deal with, compiling Sass into CSS and any of that stuff. And this is a fairly small project. As you can see, it's really only one page. And the most complicated thing, in my opinion, that we have is this modal and this copy button. I feel like that's going to be the most complicated thing to get done in this project. So we're just going to handle all of this ourselves and try and make sure that we get any browser prefixes that we are going to need in here. So let's go ahead and just make sure this works. Yes, that did work. Okay, so now after this, let's go ahead and just grab the body. And inside of this, we are going to want to set our font family. So font family is going to be, we imported Open Sans just like that, and then we'll set our backup font to be just a sans serif, just like that. Let's go ahead and set the font size to be 100%. And let's set WebKit, if I can spell this all right, font anti, no, not yet, it's smoothing. I think that's spelled properly. And we'll set that to anti aliased. Yeah, I never spelled that right. And then let's set our Moz OS X font smoothing to grayscale. All right, that should do that. If I find out I wrote that wrong, I'll let you know at some point. Let's set our position for everything as relative. Let's give it a z-index of 0 so we can start off there. And let's give this a background of what colors do we have? Whoops. Let's go ahead and grab this color first. So let's set this color as our full background color. How's that look? I'd rather use the blue one as the actual background color, just because I think blue's a little nicer to look at. Let's see how this looks. That's a little easier on the eyes. All right, so that is basically going to be our backup color in the background in case whatever browser is looking at this site can't handle the gradients that we are about to make here. Now I know I have this gradient set this way, but I think this would look a little nicer. Okay, imagine I just flip this. Yeah, like this. And let's switch these colors to I preferably like that a little bit more. I think that feels a little more natural to me. So we're changing that on the fly. Didn't really matter much, but that's what I want to do. All right. Now back to this to start working on our gradients. So let's do... All right. I see you. I see you. Background. It's been a while since I've done gradients. WebKit. Linear. Gradient. Let's set it to, whoops, left top. And then it's going to be, I believe it's going to be that. And then I think it's going to be green. Green. Yeah, green. Separated by a comma. Let's see if any of that works for a gradient. And yes, it does. Doesn't quite look like it's going from the corner to corner. It's going from the left to right, but I think we'll fix that. All right, let's do the next one. It's going to be, let's do background. Oh, linear gradient. And then this one I think needs to be the opposite. So we're going to say, bottom right. And then we've got these two colors. So we're going to grab this color here. And then I believe we're going to grab this color here. Let's put this in after this. Save it. See if anything changed. Nothing changed, but I believe that is right. Wait, let's try that. Nah, it still didn't look like it changed. Although I don't think it would, because this should be for the Opera browser, I believe. Linear gradient. Yeah. And then we'll say, again, we'll say bottom right. Oh, this would also help if I spelled this one correct too. Bottom right. And this is going to be exactly the same. This part here. Let's just copy that. All right. Now let's do background. And this will actually be our linear gradient here, and we'll say to bottom right. Put that in there. And okay, it's getting there. We're getting there. We should say background attachment fixed. I think this is a kind of like a weird bug that we have to go around and fix. And then background repeat, not position. Repeat. No repeat. Let's try this. There we go. It is going from this corner down to that corner. Perfect. Okay. Now. All right, so if you remember over here, we have added like this little overlay here just to brighten things up, make it a little less contrasty. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to come down here and we're going to grab body after. And let's say content. Just like that. Background. All right, so let's set this background to RGBA. What is this? 30. Okay, so it's gonna be 255, 255, 255, 0.3, and just like that. Oh, yeah. We need to go ahead and set the positioning of this to absolute, and then we're going to have top, not auto, it's going to be 0. And then we've got right, bottom, and left all set to 0. Now this might work. Okay, kind of, but not really. We got the overlay, but let's set the position to fixed instead of absolute. There we go. All right, now that is over everything. All right. Okay, these don't really look like it's the same font. I don't think these are the same font. All right, let's go ahead and set our button to have the font family that we set in our body. So it's going to be open sans, and then the backup is going to be sans serif, just like that. Let's see if this changes. Ready? Yeah, that changed for sure. Cool. All right, now let's start styling our content wrap right here. Let's just grab that. Select this div, and let's set the width to 100 VW, so 100 viewport widths, and the height to 100 viewport heights, just like that. Let's set the position relative so we can set a z index of 1 so it sits above our background and our overlay. There we go, brought it up. And what else can we do? Let's just set overflow hidden. All right, now we're gonna set this to display flex, but we need to go ahead and add some browser prefixes. So display dash WebKit box, and then display MS flex box. I believe those are the only ones we need. All right, now we're gonna set this flex direction to column, but we need some more browser prefixes. So this one has a little bit more. WebKit box orient vertical, and then WebKit box direction set to normal. And then we have MS flex direction column, just like that. All right. After setting this to column, we need to set our align items to center, and add in the browser prefixes for that as well. So we're going to have WebKit box align center and ms flex align center. And I think that is all of the browser prefixes for the align items. Now let's go ahead and justify content center. And then you guessed it, let's go ahead and add its browser prefixes. Luckily, I don't think we're going to have to use display flex too much. So I don't think we're going to have to do this as much as you're seeing right now. But at the moment, we need to do this. So WebKit box pack center, and then ms flex pack center. Okay. Let's set the box sizing to border box, and that has a browser prefix as well. It's just a WebKit box sizing border box. Normally I use a browser prefixer, auto prefixer. That way I don't have to worry about doing all this, but I mean, it helps to kind of know what needs it at least. And then let's see. Let's set our padding to 2.5 padding 2.5 rem. All right, let's look. All right, we have everything in the center of the page. Sweet. Now let's go ahead and we are going to style our title. Our instructions are donate and this credit, I believe is what I called it. So let's come down here. Let's grab our A with the class of title. And let's set the font weight to 600. Font size to 1.875 rem, and the color to white using the hex code. Text align center. Text decoration. No, not text decoration. None. And let's go position absolute. And this one's fairly easy, I believe. Top, what was it? Let's just do 20 pixels. And then we'll set right to 0 and left to 0 as well, and margin auto, and max width will be 250 pixels. Let's see if that fits it all in there. Perfect. Pretty perfect. Yeah, that's centered. I like it. And that still just sends us right to the same place. Did not mean to hit save. All right, now let's go ahead and grab our instructions. So it's going to be our anchor tag with the class of instructions. All right, inside of our instructions, we will go ahead and set the color to white, just like that. Text decoration is also going to be none. This one will have a font weight of 400. Font size is going to be 1 rem. And let's position this absolute as well. And then this one's going to be a little more tricky. So let's go top. Scroll down a little bit. Top. Calc. And we're going to say 50 pixels minus, I'm sorry, not 50 pixels, 50% minus approximately 35 pixels. See, it's right here. And now let's go ahead. Let's go left. Negative 30 pixels. Margin auto. And let's go ahead and we need to rotate this now. Say transform, rotate. Negative 90 degrees. And let's translate X 50%. Okay, and then we need to go ahead and set the browser prefix for this. So it's going to be webkit-transform. Let's go ahead and see this lines up. Well, it lined up, but all the way up here. Not quite where it needs to be. It needs to be shifted down some. What did I do wrong? What if we try negative 50? That looks like it did it actually right there. Cool. All right then. I think that's... See, now was that in the center before? No, that was definitely not in the center. All right, let's go put this back to negative 50%. Cool. I'm just going to copy this whole thing here for instructions, and we're going to change this to donate. So the majority of this is going to be the same, but instead of saying left, we're going to say right, but it's a shorter word, so let's cut it in around half. The calculation, though, that's going to be different. So let's set this to 15 pixels plus 50%. 50%. And then this is right, but now this is going to be, whoops. This is going to be not negative, and then this is probably going to be not negative as well. Let's go over here and refresh. Okay. Now that's definitely too low. Maybe this still needs to be negative. That looks pretty good, man. I think that looks pretty good. Oh well, we'll leave that for now and come back to it later. Just if we notice that it's off. Right now it looks alright to me. I am a little tired, so we'll see. We'll see what it looks like the next time we come back to this project. All right, let's start on our next style for the credit. So that's going to be paragraph with the class of credit, just like that. And yes, the color is going to be white. Text decoration, none. Text align center, though. Cool. Font weight, 400. Font size, 1 rem. Position, absolute. But this is all going to change just a little bit. We're not going to be transforming it, doing all that. So we're going to say bottom 10 pixels, right 0, left 0, and then we don't need to declare the top. Let's set margin to 0 though. All right, that's looking pretty good. But we do need to style the anchor tag inside of it. So underneath here, let's grab P, the class of credit with anchored in it. And let's set those styles to color, FFF, text decoration, none. And our font weight, where are you? Right here. Font weight, let's make it bold, so we'll go 700. Just like that. And let's see. Cool. Perfect. All right. All right, that was good. Now let's set a hover style for some of this stuff. Let's set a hover style for our anchor tag with instructions. Let's set one for our anchor tag of donate. And let's set one for our paragraph credit with the anchor tag. This is going to be pretty simple. It's just going to be setting the opacity to 0.7. That should be good. Yes. Now let's go ahead and add just a little transition to it. So we're going to grab our anchor tag of instructions, our anchor tag of donate, and our paragraph of credit with the anchor tag in it. And we're going to set that transition to be all 0.2s ease in. And let's give that a try. Cool. Sorry if I sound a little weird. My mouth's kind of dry, and like I said, I'm a little tired. So let's see how much more we can get done with this. I've probably got about maybe 5-10 more minutes left that I can spend on this today. So let's see. Let's work on that input wrapper. Well, yeah, input wrapper right here. Input wrapper. Cool. Width 100%. Yeah. But let's set the max width to be 800 pixels. Is that what I set it as? No, but we'll go with 800 anyways. I'm not trying to make this exactly like this. This is kind of just like a rough idea of what I want, because I know what I want in my head. And this wasn't a very like in-depth series on designing it. It's just more showing you the project and what I'm going to, how I'm building it essentially. So after max width, we're going to have margin top. And we'll set that to 80 pixels. Because why not? Display. Here we go, some more flex for you. This will be fun. Display flex. And I'm not about to write all that again. So let's find where we wrote flex the first time. Here we go. Display flex. Here's our browser prefixed display flexes. That was a mouthful. We are going to need to set this to flex direction row. So again, let's copy this. We set it to column earlier, but we can change this right here. Let's paste this in. And this is going to be a row. And this is going to be a row. And this is, that's still going to be normal. And then this is going to be horizontal, because that's totally easier than typing the word in row once. All right, that should be good. Cool. You might not know what that's looking like, but I know what that's looking like. I know the shape that it's starting to take. All right. After that, let's grab our input, because this is like the most important part of this. So we're going to set the flex grow to 2. And then there are a couple browser prefixes. So it's going to be WebKit, box, flex 2, and then ms flex positive 2. All right. Let's set our height to be 56 pixels. Close enough. Height 56 pixels. Border radius. What is the border radius? Border radius here is 8. Let's just make it 10. 10 pixels. But even though there's 10 pixels here, here, and here, and here, we can't do that because this little section here is the input, and then this is the button. So we need to have 10 on the top left and bottom left, and 0 on the top right and bottom right. So it's going to be 10, 0, 0, 10, just like that. Not too complicated. And then the button is pretty much going to be the complete opposite of that. So after border radius, let's set our border to 2 pixels solid white. Yeah. Background. What is the background? Okay. We'll set the background RGBA 51, 51, 51, 0.1. That's starting to look much nicer. That text is a little small, but we'll fix that. But yeah, here's our border radius here and here. And then this is going to be just flat up against here. All right. There's a couple more things we're going to do to this input. After background, let's set the color of our text to be FFF, also known as white. Font size, let's set that to 1 rem. And font weight, Font weight 400. Padding 20 pixels. We'll have to set that to border box for sure. Padding, let's set, yeah, border box. Don't know what I just started typing there, but border, well, our box sizing, sorry. Box sizing needs to be border box. And then there was a browser prefix for that. WebKit box sizing border box. And outline none, because I hate those blue outlines. And the margin 0 pixels. That's looking better. That is looking, and this won't be quite as wide once we style our button over here. But as you can see, all of our placement holder text is there. Let's go ahead and style the placement holder text though. So this is going to be a little different. Placeholder. And the styles are going to be color, white, and then an opacity of 6. Cool. But then we have to add some browser prefixes to what we're actually calling here. Pretty sure there's just 2. Ones I know are WebKit, and then the other one is MS. I forgot to write input up here. Input. Okay, that should be it then for that. Now we can go ahead and we can, grab our button. Our button with the class of copy button, because we've got so many buttons on here. Copy button. Let's turn this outline into nothing, because I almost wrote nothing. I legitimately hate the outline that's automatically on them. Set the width to 60 pixels and the height to the same amount of pixels that we have on our. Did I type something wrong? H-E-I-G-H-T. No. Why does that look wrong? Oh. I hate the outline that's default on like buttons and inputs. It's really aggravating and really ugly. Let's go ahead and set our border radius. Now again, if you remember, it's going to be flipped. So this time it's going to be 0, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 0. And then a border of 2 pixels, solid, and then FFF. And our background is also going to be white. All right. I want the cursor to be a pointer when you're hovering over it. I want my padding to be 0 and box sizing to be border box, and then we also need the browser prefix version of that. Let's take a look. There we go. That is looking perfect, minus the completely oversized SVG inside of there. So let's go ahead and let's grab our SVG. It's going to be button, copy button, and then SVG just like that. And then let's set the height to be 25 pixels. Perfect. That looks centered. Alright, what else do we need? Let's go ahead. Let's set... What color do we have this as? Default. Let's make it that. Just keep it simple with 2 colors. Alright, where's the SVG? Okay, path. There should be... Where's the fill? Transform. Let's just... Oh, maybe this is stroke. I think it's stroke. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. I think that was right. Let's see what it looks like with the fill set. No, it's fill for sure. All right, cool. That's good. But now let's go ahead and add the hover style for the button with the SVG. So let's copy this and SVG path. Well, when we hover over the button, I want to change the SVG path, because if we hovered over the SVG, it would only change if we were over one of these tiny little lines here. So I want, whenever we hover over the actual button, to grab the SVG path, and we are going to change the fill of this to be our other color. Where is our other color? Our other color is this color, I believe. Should be green. Is that green? No, the other color. I only have 2 colors and I got them mixed up already. Fill. All right, that's working. Let's add a little bit of easing to it though. So let's grab this without the hover, and let's say transition all 0.2s ease in. Let's try that. Perfect. All right, that's almost everything. I did not mean to open that. Only thing left we have at the moment, really, really is these 2 buttons. So, kind of over time, but let's just see how far we can get with those buttons real quick. Let's do this quick. Let's say button wrapper. Width, let's see, 330 pixels. I have 350 there. Height, 50. Margin top. $30 pixels. We're gonna need display flex again. Display flex. And we're also gonna need this display row actually. So let's just grab all of that and throw this right here. All right. We need to set the justify content to be space between. And then there are a few, well, a couple browser prefixes. WebKit, box, pack, justify, ms, flex, pack, justify. Okay. All right. Pretty close. Let's grab any buttons inside of the button wrapper. And let's set a transition on it because we're going to need it anyways. All 0.2 s is in width 250 pixels. That's 25 pixels. Let's set our height. Wait, no, 250 won't work. Let's set it to 150. And let's set the height to 100%. So it should be 100% of its parent, which is 50 pixels. So it shouldn't be any more than 50 pixels tall. 100%. Let's set the font size to 1 rem. Let's set the background to white. And then let's set the border radius to 10 pixels all around to match the input field. And a border of 2 pixels solid white. FFF. All right, let's set the box sizing. So we're gonna need WebKit box sizing border box, and then box sizing to border box. And color, we need to set a color here. Let's grab, I'm just gonna guess at one. Let's see if I get it right or not. Let's set this color. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. Color. Let's set some padding in there to be 2.5 pixels on top and bottom. It's 6 pixels on the left and right. Cursor needs to be pointer. Outline again needs to be none. And then let's give it a little box shadow. So we're going to say box shadow. Yeah? Oh, that's what I missed. Box shadow is going to be 0 pixels, 3 pixels, and 6 pixels with RGBA of 000. Whoops, there needs to be commas in between there. And 0.16. And this has a browser prefix of a WebKit. Check it out. There we go. We have a little shadow here. That makes me happy there. I'm good with that. But we do have to change the color of this button here to the blue. So how we're going to do that is like this. We're going to say button wrapper, button last of type, and then set the styles for that. And then here we're going to set the color to the color that is not that color. So it's going to be this here, which should be blue. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Now I want to do a little something when you hover over this. So let's go ahead and grab our class of button wrapper, button hover. Let's go transform. Translate Y -1 pixel. That should be good. -1 pixel. And then let's grab these and we're just going to change them just a little bit. So it's going to be 6 and 10. 6 and 10. And then we're going to change this from 0.16 to 0.1. And now when we hover over it, cool. I like that. All right. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to get into this video. This went on a little longer than I expected, and I'm probably going to hate myself when I'm editing this video. But anyways, I'm glad we got this bit done so that we can just continue next week on adding in this little section here. This should be simple compared to everything we just did. And then we're going to start adding in the functionality of everything that's going to come in later. We're just going to use JavaScript for that, and it's all going to be written inside of this same page. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Next week we're going to pick up where we left off and continue working on this project and developing it. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I am really excited to get to your questions and I really can't wait to answer those. But until then, if you have any more questions, make sure you leave them down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you like this channel, go ahead and subscribe. But if you like the content that I'm creating, go on over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/Zachary R. Newton, where you can support this channel and help me create better videos every week. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.